Hey there, Starseeds! Welcome to Beyond the Cosmic Table. We're a group of friends from different cultures, backgrounds, and beliefs. We gather around our table and initiate honest and open conversations on how energy and frequencies influence what we create around us. By expanding awareness, we're able to journey with practical guidance leading to our highest awareness and conscious living. So, take a seat and join us at our table. Hey friends, we're back this week with another chat around the table. Dianne asked that I share some of my recent experiences with breathwork, and Ebby and Deliliah join in on the conversation. If you've ever wondered what these experiences are all about, listen in as I share mine.
You had taken a few classes regarding breath work or working with your breath, and I've been anxious to hear about it. So is there some information you can share with me in the group tonight about it?
Yeah, I've been wanting to share with you guys. Oh my gosh. So I've done a couple now, and I actually did my first one last June of 2020. And it was my very first live breathwork experience. And it was here in Phoenix, and it was called Die Before You Die, a spiritual death and rebirth experience. I actually printed out the description because I didn't want to butcher it in explaining, because I think that how he explains it in his description, which I actually found this class on Meetup, on the Meetup app, or you can go to meetup.com. I just found it by accident. I was just searching for spiritual related events, and this one came up and I read the description and it sounded really cool. So I wanted to read it to you guys and share with the listeners, and then explain how my experience went that time, and then how it went the second time around, which I just did about a month ago. And then share my experience with a separate breathwork class, all of them with the same person. He's really great. But yeah, so this one is called Die Before You Die, a spiritual death and rebirth experience. And in the description, it says, death, according to Eckhart Tolle, is the stripping away of all that is not you. It is the stripping away of those beliefs encoded by society, those fears, those assumptions, those half-baked truths that become your internal reality after many years. Death is when everything opens up and you see yourself as you truly are. You understand that you are much more than what you might have presumed. One of the major secrets to life is to first die to the identification with our mind and release the illusions and limited understandings that control us and keep us from fully identifying and experiencing our truest selves. Have you ever allowed yourself the chance to strip away everything that holds you back so you can live fully in the now, even if just for a moment? To fully accept and release all the clinging, grasping, and aversions you have that throws you off your path. Have you ever been freed up to work your full magic to the point of love and acceptance of the present moment, and that no matter what, you'll be okay? Once we accept that we are eternal spirits, not a body limited to a physical existence, and are ready to let go of all we think and know, a totally new you will be rebirthed. In this intensive, you will reenact a spiritual death and rebirth. We will identify what is holding you back from your truest self and understand your illusions that cause separation from your core. Go through a very powerful, extended transformational breathwork, sound, and deep meditation journey where you will release those attachments, free yourself of the shackles of the mind and body that bind you, die to everything that doesn't serve you, then come back and rebirth your new you. So that's the description, and that sold me. And so I signed up for that class in June of 2020, and I went. And that was my first live breath experience, and it was super intense. I don't know if you guys have ever tried the intense breathing, like the Wim Hof method or anything like that. I had heard of Wim Hof a couple years ago and actually YouTubed him and tried his breathwork technique. And I just found it extremely challenging, and it wasn't something that I was able to do on my own. So I thought going to an event with other people, with somebody physically there to help guide me and just be a part of something live would help me, and it definitely did. So in this experience, he has really great music going on in the background. He prepares you for it, explains everything that's going to happen with your body, with your mind, where you're going to go. I wish I could remember exactly how he describes it, because he does a really great job. But basically, if you do it, quote unquote, right, I mean, you can basically have essentially like a psychedelic type experience. You could really go to another place, another dimension, and it's really intense. Everybody's experience is different, and every experience with each time you do it is different, as I've learned and as he has explained. But he walks you through it, he guides you, he lets you know what's going to happen with your body, how you should breathe, what the most effective way of breathing is to get the most of your experience. And you just lie there, and in our situation, it's at this place, I forget the name of it, but it's like a sanctuary. It's a great environment, and we all, you know, have our mats and our blankets and our pillows and our eye masks. And he makes it dark, and he plays music. And then he also has singing bowls, drums, gongs, the rainmaker, the thunder maker. So he's doing all this wonderful sound during the whole thing, and he's guiding you through it. And so the first 15 minutes is just getting connected with your breath. And then you go into the breathing exercise, which is 40 minutes long. And you're basically that's all you're doing is breathing 40 minutes, and it's in and out of your mouth, and it's fast for 40 minutes. So my first experience, since you know, I'd never done it before, it was really intense. It was really difficult. However, I did still feel like I had an experience. I don't remember all the details from that particular one because it was over a year ago. I just remember that I did feel my body vibrate. My body was definitely vibrating intensely. I was a lot still in my mind because I was just so focused on how difficult the breathing was, and I wasn't truly able to like get into the flow of it. I think maybe I lasted like in that entire 40 minutes, maybe 5 minutes of it, I was in the flow of it and really getting into it. But, you know, outside of that 5 minutes, I was just in my head, like, oh my God, this is hard. And then after you go through the breathing, you know, he walks you through basically just like the death of your ego. It's just really cool. The whole guided experience is really cool. And then there's a meditation, and then the whole thing overall is 2.5 hours long. And then you sit in a circle and you share your experience, if you choose to, with the rest of the group. So I left that experience and I loved it, but it was in, you know, the peak of COVID. So he had that one. And then I think that's when the mask mandate, you know, took effect in Arizona, like right after that event. And I think he chose not to hold it for a while for that reason. Obviously you can't do that event with masks on. So I didn't attend anything up until about a month ago. I just went on Meetup to see what was going on. I've been wanting to do his class again because I liked him so much. And I finally saw it. So my girlfriend, Jeanette, and I attended the Die Before You Die experience again. So it was her first time attending and my second. And this time I knew what to expect. And I don't know, maybe somehow I was more prepared, but it was the most incredible experience I've ever had. And I don't, you know, I've read up on Kundalini awakenings and in the description of them. I don't know. I feel like something happened that was so intense, because when you're doing this breathing exercise and you're going through the whole process, if you really get into the breathing and you're able to hold it for that whole 40 minutes, go in and really like experience the whole thing as it's intended. I don't know how to describe it, but it is really like a psychedelic, even though I've never really truly had a psychedelic experience, it's what I've ever heard it to be, plus more. So, and he, you know, in the beginning, he says, you know, let go, surrender, you know, don't hold back. People laugh, people cry, people, you know, their bodies, like just all these crazy things. So you really have to really release your ego, really not care what's going on. And everybody else's eyes are closed and they're going through their own experience too. So nobody's watching you except for him. And he's been doing it for 6-7 years and he's seen it all. So you really feel comfortable just letting go. And so I did. And my body was going through, I don't even know what, the vibrating that was going on was so intense. In this particular experience, I felt, and I'm probably not going in order because all these things happened within the 40 minutes, but I felt without a doubt source love, like that source love that we hear about. I felt it intensely and I immediately like broke down in tears of joy. Like if you ever gave birth to a child, like that feeling you get, like once he's there in your arms, like it was that kind of love that I felt in that moment. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is it. And then I had to keep like bringing myself back because my mind's getting in the way with like, oh my God, this is it. Like, what's it, you know, I'm feeling everything. But once I like get back to my breath and just focus on the whole thing, then I'm seeing visions and feeling things. And I was feeling, you know, spirit of my boyfriend. Like I felt him there. And then I started seeing visions of, it was like a third world country, children and animals, elephants. I was seeing all of that. And I was just seeing so much love there. And then it was kind of like a knowing, you know, that everybody is experiencing the same thing as you are. Basically, like I felt like I was one with everyone. It's hard to explain. And because it was a couple weeks away now, it's a little faded, but overall, I was inundated with like all these feelings of compassion and oneness, so that what we hear about being one with everyone and we are all part of source, I literally felt it in that moment. And it was really intense. My body was vibrating, physically vibrating, and I was convulsing and my body was going up and down. And it's like I was aware of what was going on physically to me, but I was so like entrenched in what was going on in this other part of me, this other dimension, I guess you would call it, where I was like seeing all these things and feeling all these things. It was a trip. It was definitely a trip. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else to that particular experience.
Sounds amazing.
It was so incredible. It really was. I'm sure I'm forgetting bits and pieces of that whole experience because it was really, truly incredible. I did get like a very personal message too that felt like it was either coming from my higher self or my guides. And I get messages all the time, but this one was like really, I don't know. It was just more like intense. I keep using that same word, intense, but
More real maybe than
more real. Yeah. Like more just like,
was it like more specific? So like it zoned in more?
I guess, yeah. Yeah. It just felt more real. Yeah. Just more direct, I guess. I guess sometimes when I hear messages, you know, any other time, my ego might get in the way and question like, oh, is this just me like making stuff up? Is it, you know, because, you know, we get in the way of that. In this experience, I knew without a doubt, like, yeah, this is coming from somewhere. So, and then it's a whole like relaxation experience as well. So once you're done with the whole breathing thing, it's more of like just a guided meditation, and it's really incredible. And it's neat because when you're done, you know, the people that feel comfortable sharing, we'll go around the circle and people share, and everybody has a different experience. But when I shared with my group that day what happened, he commented, he's like, I saw what you were going through. He's like, I questioned if you were actually having, you know, some sort of like activation or awakening. Something serious was going on. Oh, and the other thing, so TMI, but you know, you go into these events and you're not really supposed to go on a full stomach or with a lot of liquids because, you know, you're there for 2 hours and you're breathing, and you obviously don't want to have to get up and go to the bathroom or anything. And you want to have the full breathing experience. So you don't want your tummy full or anything. So I went there and I knew not to drink or anything. So I hardly had any liquids that day. Still in all, you know, about, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes into the breathing, I started having to go use the bathroom, and I didn't want to screw up my experience. So I didn't get up. So when I got up, when the thing was over and I went to the bathroom, I was going to the bathroom what felt like 5 minutes straight. And what I was feeling was that like, okay, this is some kind of purging. Something's going on here because I've hardly had any liquids today, and I'm peeing like I've had 1.5 gallons of water. So I really felt like it was cleansing something. So maybe something held, Dianne, maybe you could speak to this, some sort of like emotion held in my kidneys, or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, that's possible. But I was thinking too, of like if you had gone through that much breathing, I'm wondering if it was almost like a mini detox almost, because your cells are, you know, if you're contracting muscles like that, you know, because that's your whole abdomen and core and everything. So I would think it had to do like some, you know, I would think it'd be more like from your cells then, but it could be totally emotions too. If you're holding on to stuff to let that go. And we know that the kidneys are the, you know, a way of elimination, and you were just getting rid of a lot of stuff that had been built up in you.
What emotions are held in the kidneys? Do you know off the top of your head?
The emotion that's normally held in the kidneys is anxiousness. Anxieties. That's what That's why people who really struggle with a lot of fears or anxieties and stuff, it affects their kidneys.
I agree with Dianne saying that the cellular structure, we're all nodding our head. We're all, thinking the same thing as you're asking your question. And the deep breaths that we take from the belly, from the diaphragm quickly, 30 repetitive breaths in this type of a session and the longevity of it. It's like wringing out your organs. Like when you do yoga, you're wringing out your organs, your body's twisting, you're doing those movements and muscles and organs and areas that you typically don't concentrate on or hold a position for so long. So I think that might have been what you were experiencing. And I think you'd probably just have to take a deeper look to see if there was an emotion tied to it. But I think there was, since you're peeling back that onion, and this class seemed so important for you to revisit because of the experience and the knowledge. I think it's super cool. I mean, I've done a similar, smaller scale class like that before. So a lot of what you're saying brought back a lot of memories and resonated. So I think it's super awesome for you to do.
Oh, thank you. What did you find, Dianne?
I did grab the original emotion code book, and the emotions that are held at the kidney are blaming, dread, fear, horror, peeved, conflict, creative insecurity, terror, unsupported, and wishy-washy. That's what's listed in the book from the emotion code.
Oh, well, some of that resonates. So
I would venture to even reach further back at the root, because the kidneys are also a tool to expel what's already been handled within the body. So, I mean, that's kind of curious to see. I'm wondering if the whole emotional piece of it for you, the whole experience, if is the emotion of the kidney or a combination of something else or a combination of another aspect of your experience.
It probably is all of the above, but I like how you said that it's the kidneys letting go of what's already been processed, because the liver filters and then it goes to the kidneys. So it's what else are you holding on to that needed to be released?
I should say, so did you notice, like, emotionally or physically, like in the couple weeks after, did you notice a shift, like a shift that lasted longer than just like that day or the next day? Was your mood better? Did you feel more connected? What was the longer lasting results?
I felt very light after, like directly after, and he did say that there might be some noticeable subtle changes within the days to come. But I think personally, I just get too caught up in what's going on in my life and not spend the time to quiet and go within to see if I'm maybe noticing. I'm allowing just external everything to distract me. So that's something that I need to focus on moving forward with these events, is to, quiet myself the few days after that to see, what I'm feeling. I don't remember what, if I was feeling better. I don't recall feeling worse. So that's good. But
anything physical?
Nothing physical. But I wanted to share the next event that I did, which was with the same guy, another breathing event. It was slightly different. It wasn't the full 2.5 hour experience. I think this one was 2 hours. It was slightly different. And you really go in setting the intention for what you want to get from the experience. So again, I'll just read really quickly what he shared as the explanation for this event on his page, and then I'll share what happened with that, because it was different. So this one was called Breath of Life Activation. You will truly transform to the next level of consciousness. Come to work on some life challenges you may have, come to experience a powerful healing procedure, or just come to really feel good. This is an accelerated process for personal transformation and growth. Breath of Life Activation is an active process utilizing the most widely available yet most underutilized resource on our planet, oxygen. This highly focused and extremely powerful experience greatly accelerates the user's personal transformation by bypassing the conscious mind and going directly to the subconscious, where all true possibilities exist. Other instruments, along with the facilitator's guidance, along with a symphony of emotional music, will take you on a powerful extrasensory and internal journey you'll want to do again and again. So this was the first time I did this particular class, and he once again did a really great job helping you think about what you want to experience in the session, setting your intentions, again, letting go, surrendering to the experience. I was expecting to have the same kind of experience that I did the last time. I felt the vibrating. My breathing was much easier. So I would like to share that every time I've done this, the breathing has gotten a lot easier. In fact, it's gotten to the point where I feel like maybe I could even, if I could find a good like guided one to do at home, I might even be able to do this at home and really even have a better experience because I'll be by myself. And even though I'd like to say that I let my ego go and I did surrender and really just let loose, I'm sure there was a small part of me that still was holding back a little bit because, you know, there's strangers lying on each side of me. So maybe I would get a little more emotional or be a little louder or whatever if I was alone. I don't know. But in this experience, my body did the whole vibrating thing again, and I felt source love again. So the same thing happened. What was similar from the last experience and this experience is that I did go in and feel source love right away, did get emotional, but my body didn't do the same things that it was doing the last time. And instead I was seeing white pillars of light almost the entire time. It was like bright, bright white, 2 pillars on each side of me of this light. And that's what I remember the most from it. And I was a lot more in my head this time, and I'm not sure why, but it was still a really great experience. And what came up again was the whole peeing. So I went there again with like hardly any fluids in my system. But this time was cool because I'm like, I'm not letting this screw me up. So I set the intention when it started to come that I felt like I had to go to the bathroom because we probably still had like an hour left. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to make it through this whole thing holding my bladder. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to clear this energetically. And so I sat there for a good 5 minutes, focusing on the fact that my bladder felt full and I was releasing whatever needed to come out physically. I'm releasing this energetically. And I just kept, stating it over and over in my mind. And it took, I would say, a good 5-10 minutes, but eventually the urge went away. Like it was still there, but not to the point where, because if I didn't do that, there's no way I would have had to get up and go to the bathroom. So it happened again. And then when the whole event was finally over and I did go to the bathroom, same thing. It was just like, oh my God, am I ever going to stop peeing? It was so ridiculous. So clearly whatever is going on with my bladder or my kidneys or whatever, it happened again. So it'll be interesting going forward. Like, as I continue to do these, like, is that going to keep happening? I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, that was basically my experience and it was incredible. And I wish that his name's Coulter. I wish that he did just tours across the country because I'm sure there's other great facilitators out there, but he is just so amazing. And I would be going again tomorrow night because he has another class tomorrow night, but I'm flying out to Minnesota, so I won't be able to make it.
So is there, you said if you could find a guided one, have you looked to see if there's any of these YouTube videos that would be like people could try at home, or have you even looked, or is this called a specific thing?
I haven't looked lately. When I looked into Wim Hof, that's the only one that I tried a couple of years ago, but I haven't tried anything recently. I'm actually going to reach out to Coulter and see if he has anything online, and if not, if he would be willing to create it and even sell it. I would pay for it. Like, he just does such a great job and his energy is really great. And I think that the facilitator definitely makes it. And you wanted to share your very brief experience, Dianne, that you ended up not doing because you didn't like the facilitator, right?
Yeah, I had logged on to one that there was something online with an organization that I won't name since I logged off, but I logged on and it was just a very uncomfortable platform. The people didn't seem very organized, for one thing, and uncoordinated. So I logged off. So it wasn't just something that I was looking to do. So
yeah.
I find another one if I get another one to try something like that, but it is, like you said, it's totally different on Zoom, or if you're doing a guided one through a YouTube than when you're in person.
You tried looking on the Meetup app to see if there's any in your area?
No, but I will now, since I didn't know that you'd found that through Meetup.
Oh, okay.
So I will look, definitely.
I think it's great. I think it's something we could totally incorporate into this thing that's happening in September for our birthdays. It almost feels like this is the beginning of a future, what do you call it? Like a retreat, So how Lee did the meditation for us that one time that we all participated in at our house. And then, maybe we just do an event, something that's similar to this. You've had the most recent, mine was years back, and you're right. It's a lot. It's core work and you're breathing and your body needs oxygen and you get lightheaded and you get all these experiences that you're just like, I thought I was ready for this, so I need to get out of my head. And then like when you go to the second one, like everything you're saying resonated with me, and I'm like, I still remember that. And I think it would be great for like our group meetup, our birthday celebration, that I strongly feel in the future time comes, we're going to end up making it into a retreat for us where we actually have like, lessons and experiences to have with different modalities and stuff like that.
That would so be a great retreat if we could meet somewhere and even have him come in and run that.
Sedona.
I'm willing to do that.
Are you? Well, we've talked about it. That would be
Yeah.
really great if we could just run a house for a weekend in Sedona and then, hire him to come and lead us in that. That would be awesome.
It would. And then if Dianne can find us some local ley lines around there, we could do more than one thing.
We can do the alien tour.
We can do the alien tour, the breathing, and the ley lines.
And check out all the vortexes.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing all of this and your experiences. And I think it's a great thing to bring to people's awareness. And like you said, just check out Meetup, or their local, local stores or metaphysical shops may have something local to them. If people are outside, the areas that we are in, they may be able to find something and experiencing it and share it. So I think it's great that you brought to our awareness that it's out there for us to try.
And you know what else? I wonder if, because you seem to be taking such a couple of you guys have taken such a shine to this, you never know. One of you guys may decide that's something that you would like to incorporate into your own services.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I would consider for sure. It's such a wonderful experience. It is something that I'm going to do consistently. And I think that as I continue to do it, it'll get easier. And I'm going to try, a whole bunch of different things, because I want to experience all the possibilities and ways to connect.
Thanks for sharing.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Happy breathing.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Apologies for some of the audio disturbances. Internet was a bit wobbly at times, but we hope you enjoyed listening in. I strongly encourage you to look into the Meetup app for similar events in your area. I really think attending these events live creates a better experience all around and provides the opportunity to meet like-minded people. Share this episode with anyone you believe would enjoy it, and as always, thanks for your support. We'll be back in a few weeks with another discussion around the cosmic table.